In this video, we are going to talk about the 7 Hermetic Principles. I'm going to do the best that I can here to lay down on you a basic understanding of them. There are literally communities and circles that specialize in the Hermetic Principles, the 7 Hermetic Principles, because they're really deep. They're basically the laws of creation, right? This is essentially the laws of creation laid out. And Hermes is like the Egyptian version of the Greek version of the Egyptian god Thoth or Thoth. Basically, it's probably the same person. Okay, it really is irrelevant here because what we care about is the actual message, the actual teachings of Hermes slash Thoth. Let's get started here with the first principle called the Principle of Mentalism. And so the Principle of Mentalism states, very simply, that all is mental. And all in the Kabbalion, which is the book that I'm getting all this information from. You can go listen to it. It's like a 3-hour audiobook. It's pretty nice and short. You can finish it in a couple of days, really, you will feel some illumination going in your third eye just by listening to it. So I highly recommend you do that. The all refers to infinite intelligence, the force, the way, the Tao. You name it. Whatever you want to name it. God, consciousness, light, beauty. It's just another name. And so it states that all is mental. So everything is mental. There's no such thing as physical existence. There's no such thing as physicality. That physicality, which we'll talk more about in the third principle, the principle of vibration. Physicality is simply mental energy vibrating at a slow rate, so slow that it actually takes on a physical appearance and physical vessel. Okay, but that's we'll talk more about that in the principle of vibration, the third principle. But back to the first one, mentalism, the principle of mentalism. The all is mental. Everything is mental. The all itself, the consciousness, infinite intelligence itself is mental. And what is the character of a mental thing? It cannot be grasped. You see, you can't grasp it. It's non-graspable. It doesn't have a shape. Think of like a thought is mental, right? So can you measure thoughts? Do you have like a measuring device like this? This is 3 kilograms of thoughts. I have 3 kilograms of thoughts here. Or you kind of feel up the thought. Oh, that's a ripe thought. As if it's a piece of fruit. You can't do that, right? It's not graspable. It's mental. So the all, the nature of the all, which is what really is spirit. What is spirit? Spirit is that which cannot be seen, that which cannot be grasped. You see, a spiritual person is a person that's operating at several different radio stations that cannot necessarily be grasped or grasped, right? You can't grasp it. So the all itself is mental. It's mental. And so we are in the mind of the all, in the mind of God. Okay, all of creation, it's happening in the mind of the all. There is no such thing as physical experience. It only appears to be that way, just like a mirage appears to be a mirage, appears to be water, when in fact it's a mirage, and when in fact there is no water. And that's the same thing. So it all appears real, it all appears physical, at least on this dimension. It all appears, like it's, you can look, I can grasp sand, right? I can touch my body, but really it just appears to be that way. A mirage is not water, no matter how much you try to convince yourself. A mirage is no water, and this is no physical. So we're in the mind of God. The all is mental. And that's very key to understand, because as you begin to apply the Hermetic Principles into your life, as a student of the Hermetic Principles, you obviously want to apply the principles into your life and experience their power for yourself. So the all is mental. So keep that in mind. Always remember that, because mind creates matter. If you want to change something in your life physically, something you want to see some physical happen, like say you're overweight and you want to get in shape. Well, look at the term, I want to get in shape. Now when you say I want to get in shape, an image pops into your head of what getting in shape looks like for you. See? Because mind precedes matter. Mind creates matter. So if you want that image of whatever you have an image of what getting fit for you is, then it starts in your mind. The first thing that starts is you got to do some mental change here. You got to see it in your mind. So mind precedes matter. So the all is mental, the principle of mentalism, and that's number one. That sets up the foundation for everything else. So the second Hermetic principle, the principle of correspondence. And I'm sure you've heard this, I'm sure. As above, so below. And as below, so above. As above, so below. So what does that mean? Well, okay. Everything that you experience is the manifestation of a higher plane. And everything that you experience in that higher plane is the manifestation of a plane that is even higher. And it keeps sort of going higher and higher and higher and higher. You could look at it in several ways. So you could take the model of the 7 densities, or the 7 chakras. Let's say the 7 densities, because I think you guys are familiar with it here if you've been keeping up with the videos. So we're in 3rd density right now. We're experiencing this earth experience in 3rd density. Now this 3rd density, you may look and say, well, everything here is dictated by politicians and the elites and the Illuminati, this and that, so you may say, well, if we change our world leaders, or if this happens or that happens, as if everything that is happening on this plane, on 3rd density, is being caused only within 3rd density, when in fact 3rd density is the chess match played on the 4th density. So we got the Illuminati, and then the people who control them actually are the 4th density negative malevolent beings. We call the reptilians, or whatever you want to call them, right? So in the same way, you got the wanderers, the starseeds here, who work for the Confederation. I work for the Confederation. The Confederation of what? The Confederation of Love and Light. You see? And so that Confederation consists of 4th density beings, 5th density, 6th density. So the game here is being played on a higher plane. As above, so below. Now the 4th density is also being played on the 5th, and the 5th on the 6th, and then on and on and on and on it goes. Now you could also take the Hindu model, which is, you got 3 planes. The physical plane, the astral plane, and then the causal plane. So the physical plane is the physical, is what you perceive and grasp and see it as physical and feel it as physical, okay? And then the astral is that which is not physical, non-physical, it's more mental. So those are more refined, higher planes, essentially. 4th density, 5th density, 6th density would all constitute the astral plane. And then you have the causal plane. Now the causal plane is higher than the astral. Why? The causal plane is the plane of cause and effect. Okay, so essentially everything, all the other planes beneath it are being are essentially being manifested, being imagined in the mind of God, in the mind of the all, by the laws of creation, which is that's why it's called the causal plane. It's all the laws of creation, which manifest this plane and that plane and the one below it, and on and on and on it goes for infinity, really. So it's pretty cool. And again, it ties up with mind precedes matter. You could also look at it in the chakra system. Okay, so all right, I want to get I want to get fit, right? I want to change the physical. Well, where do you go to do that? What's the first step? Actually, you uttering even, I want, saying, speaking, because your magic wand is your word. So you speaking, even saying, I want to improve the physical health of my body, or the physical shape of my body. Where did you go? You went to a higher plane. Right here, third chakra, sixth density, third eye, or it's not third chakra, sixth chakra, third eye, sixth density. Right here, you went here, as above, so below. You see, the body is even below your mind. See, even the design of the human. You see, it's really, it's amazing when you see how it manifests at every level. Even the design of a human, look, as above. See, it's almost as if your head is like, has nothing to do with your body. You see, as above, so below. So the body is below, actually, the physical body itself. And you could say your brain, you know, your brain is part of the body, but even your brain resides up there. It resides in the higher planes. And of course, the mind is and the brain are two different things. You know, the mind is the consciousness, I suppose. It's what it goes on after. You know, consciousness does not reside in the brain. It simply is transmitted through the brain. So when the brain shuts off, consciousness just goes and has a different experience. So you can see this as above. You can see it even in your own body. As above, so below. You see, it's incredible, incredible. Creation is so precise. Everything about it is so precise. And everything manifests, it's like a fractal pattern. You see? So you're going to see the same thing everywhere. You're just going to keep seeing the same thing on every plane. You're going to keep seeing the same thing. So, moving on to the third principle, the third Hermetic principle. So we went through the first, the principle of mentalism, the second, the principle of correspondence. The third principle is the principle of vibration. And this one really fascinates me. Really, really fascinates me. So, nothing is at rest. Everything vibrates. Everything vibrates. And it's just simply things manifest according to the degree of their vibration. So anything that solidifies, solid, is vibrating at a slower rate. The best thing I can give you, the best analogy, the best example that makes this whole, make you understand this principle much easier. Water. Water goes from vapor to liquid to solid to ice. So it's water vapor, turns into liquid water, turns into ice. Ice is the densest, it's vibrating at the slowest rate. And then because it vibrates at a slower rate, it takes on solid shape. It becomes, it has a shape now. You see, but whereas it's vapor, it's shapeless, it's formless. You see? And but you slow down the vibration and then it becomes solid. It's a solid thing. And then water is that sort of in between. You know, that's the in between state, the state of flow. And it takes on any shape really at that point. So this is basically creation in a nutshell. If you're experiencing physicality right now, you're experiencing a plane that vibrates at a slower rate. This is why in this dense realm, we need transportation. We need things to move us from one place to another. Everything takes time because the vibration is dense. Whereas at higher densities, densities that are vibrating at a higher rate, you know, teleportation, telepathy, things happen very quickly because, again, it's the vibration is it's faster. The molecules, the atoms are vibrating at a faster, higher rate. You see, so everything you look at sand has a certain vibration, okay, and then you get a piece of banana, it has a certain vibration. You get a piece of steak, it has a certain vibration. The steak is denser vibration, the banana is lighter, and then you get coconut water. Coconut water is a higher, it vibrates higher than, say, a banana. And because it vibrates higher than a banana, it's even taking on a liquid shape, a liquid form. You see? So it everything has a vibration. Sounds have a vibration. Like if the beach waves, the waves, they have their own vibration. And again, it instills a certain emotion in the beholder, right? That could make you lighter, vibrate at a higher rate or at a denser rate. Certain music also keeps you in a lower vibration. Basically, mostly mainstream music keeps you at a lower vibration. Everything vibrates. Nothing is at rest. It may seem like it's at rest, but it isn't. It's just slow vibration condensed into physical matter. Okay, like Bill Hicks says, all matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration. All matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration. So as the planet now makes its way from third density to fourth, things begin to happen faster. Time seems to speed up. And if you are attuned with the elements and with the pulse of the planet, you will notice that things are happening quicker and quicker now as time continues to go on. I believe Terence McKenna mentioned something along those lines too. He mentioned something that time, it seems to be moving faster. I certainly feel it. Everything seems to be moving faster because the density is getting more. It's getting finer. Things are vibrating at a higher rate. So, like I see, for example, if I got a habit and I want to change it now, I change it a lot quicker than if I tried to do that 8 years ago or 9 years ago, where it would have taken me a lot more affirmations and visualizations to change. But now I find like I can change the programming of the mind-body complex a lot quicker than I was able to 8 or 9 years ago. So, third principle, the principle of vibration. Now let's move on to the fourth principle, the principle of polarity. All things come in pair. This is basically describing the dual nature of creation. Hot comes with cold. Day comes with night. Fast comes with slow. Female comes with male. So all things have a polar opposite. You could go, and so if you want to, the idea, and I talked about this in a previous video, the idea is, if you want to, if let's say, like for example, fear, the polar opposite of fear is courage. So if you feel like I am operating at the polar, at fear, I have a lot of fears in my life, then you basically take a look at that thing and you say, what is the polar opposite of that? Because everything comes with a pair. And then you see, oh wow, okay, the polar opposite of courage, of fear, is courage. So I'm going to instill courage in my character. And you begin to act courageously. You begin to entertain, what does the courageous action look like? And then you say, well, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to act courageously. And you take yourself from one part of the polarity to another one. And I want to make a separate video for this one actually. Every problem has a solution. By the virtue of a problem existing, a solution already exists. And this one is actually, it's pretty comforting, because then the next time you find yourself in any sort of problem, you say, well, there's got to be a solution. I'm beholding a problem here. Okay, well, because all things come in pair, so a problem comes with a solution. Is any problem. Well, I got my knee hurts. Well, there's a solution for it, because by virtue of you having a problem, your knee hurts, means that hurting of the knee came with its polar opposite, which is the solution to it. Okay, and so you can apply. You may be like stuck in the middle. You're driving and in the middle of the night and there's no one around, and boom, you get a flat tire, and you don't have a spare tire, or you don't know how to change it, or whatever. By virtue of that problem existing, there is also a solution for it. There is a solution for it. There has to be a solution for it. And that's comforting, because you don't have to panic, because you realize the principle of polarity. All things come in pair. It's the dual nature of creation. Like, I remember I was with a friend of mine, and we were doing, he had a moving company, and I was working with him that day. And then it was like 1 a.m., and then we ran out of gas. And it was in the middle of nowhere. So what happened then? Yeah, so then actually this is a very pedestrian example, because all it was is we called somebody who gave us a number of somebody, and then we called that somebody, And then that somebody brought some gas with him. And then we just gave him money, and we had a little bit of gas to get us to the gas station, the nearest gas station. So there was a solution there, even though it was 1 a.m. in the middle of nowhere, but somehow there was a solution. Everything has a solution. Everything has a solution. So that's a different video though. See, I'm ruining it now. But you get the idea, you get what I'm saying. The principle of polarity. All things come in pair. It's the dualistic nature of creation. So, number 5, the principle of rhythm. All things have a rhythm. And this is basically like a continuation of the principle of polarity. So all of creation is rhythmic. All creation is rhythmic. There is the tide of the beach, for example, the tide of the ocean. It comes and it goes back. It pulls forward, goes backwards. The sun rises, the sun falls. The moon is full, and then there's no moon, right? And then the moon wanes. Waxing of the moon, the waning of the moon. You see, and everything has a rhythm. Like when I used to work in a coffee shop, we'd get an order, for example, let's say cappuccino. And in the next hour, it's just cappuccinos all over. It's raining cappuccinos. Then suddenly it stops. Nobody's ordering any more cappuccinos. And then somebody comes in, orders a hot chocolate. Then the person behind, or the person, a couple of people behind, gets a hot chocolate. Next thing you know, it's raining hot chocolates for an hour. And then it stops. And then boom. It's like everything is rhythmic. So much so that the people who work in coffee shops know this. And I'm talking about average people that have just, they're basically, like asleep, they're not aware of all this stuff. But they notice this because it's such a common tendency. They notice this. So everything has a rhythm. Everything has a rhythm. You may have seasons in your life where you have a lot of money. Seasons where you don't. Seasons where you're out and about and socializing, and seasons where you're in complete solitude. You see, and it's like that's all. It's everything is rhythmic. Everything is rhythmic. Like I remember one time my headphones broke, and then a day later the light bulbs stopped working, and a day later I think a phone got stolen. So it was all these disasters happening at once. And I was like, all right, I just gotta ride the wave. I hope the wave stops soon. And eventually it stops. Nothing goes on forever. And everything has a rhythm. So now the idea is that so I'll give you an example here. The idea is that you want to see which part of the pole, because the rhythm goes from one pole to the next, which part of the pole would you like to hang out at and stabilize yourself in, and then you can begin to work towards that. So I'll give you an example here. You drop a tap of LSD or eat some mushrooms, and what happens is you plug into cosmic energy and you feel like, oh my god, surge of energy runs through your veins, unbelievable, oh my god, I feel like God, and basically you went from one side. So let's say if you're here, you took a tap of acid and you went all the way here to the Godhead. You went to this side, okay? So, and then you like it there, but then what happens? What's gonna happen? Is the next day you're gonna swing all the way back there, not even here, there. So you feel tired the next day, the next couple of days. You're like, man, yesterday I was God and today I'm this idiot again. And then you just like, it's such a bummer. You go back to here. You go from God back to here. So, but then if you like being God, you can begin to work towards that state, towards that pole, and stabilize yourself there. Okay, so then you realize, okay, this is why I stopped microdosing and I actually don't think I'm gonna take any psychedelics for a long time. I had some tabs and I just I got rid of them, because I kept going. I must have done hundreds of tabs, it's not an exaggeration. But what I found keeps happening is I keep going to God, back here again, to God, and it's frustrating. So now I'm like, okay, you know what? I like being God so much. I'm just gonna start slowly working my way up the pendulum, going up here, and I'm gonna when I get there, I'm just gonna stabilize here. You know, that's basically, once you've mastered these principles, you could actually stabilize yourself at one part of the pole, the one you desire to be at. Okay, so the old drugs will take you from one part, you know, they'll swing the pendulum in one way or another, and then what goes up must come down. But with deliberate conscious effort, you can go up and stay up. Okay, and that's why you practice, you meditate, you lighten up your diet and get on the breatharian journey, etc. Because you like one part of the pole and you want to stabilize there, and it is possible, but you got to put in the effort, the conscious effort. So everything is rhythmic, everything has a rhythm, and then, you know, like Vivekananda says, the purpose of a human being is to rise above the laws of nature, and that's essentially rising above the laws of nature, because nature is lawful. It is lawful, it is rhythmic, everything is rhythmic, it comes in rhythms and cycles, but you, the conscious being, experiencing yourself as a human, you can transcend the laws of nature. And that's what the fifth principle of rhythm, the principle of rhythm, suggests and states clearly. So, let's go to the sixth principle, the principle of cause and effect. Cause and effect. So everything has a cause, and every effect is caused by something. So basically, the third density, let's take third density, which is the density we're experiencing ourselves in. Third density is the effect of fourth density. Fourth density is the effect of fifth. Fifth is the effect of sixth. Sixth is the effect of seventh. And they're all the effects of the cause, which is source. Okay, so it's like layers, basically. It's layers. The cause creates this effect creates this cause creates this effect, and on it goes. But really, there's only one original cause, and that's source, and that's the all, and that's let there be light, and there was light moment. And so that's why, you know, free will is an illusion, because everything already happened in many ways. But while you play in the illusion, there are certain things that basically, the more conscious you are, the more free will you have, essentially. The more conscious you are, the more you can be the cause instead of the effect. You see, the more awakened you are, the more of a cause you become. But it always is, you know, it depends. Like, you have to also respect the higher laws. Like, I can't just, no matter how conscious I am, I suppose, I can't just suddenly make the sun disappear. You know, because, I mean, I guess, I suppose I could. Probably, you know, but I don't think I would want to, because the higher your consciousness is, the more you stop interfering with things. So there's a loophole to the, there's a loophole, oh man, I just realized that. There is actually a loophole here. There is a fail-safe, if you will, which is, you know, when a being becomes more conscious, they interfere less and less with the laws of creation. Isn't that funny? They interfere less and less, because I guess when you're more conscious, you become the cause, and you can do almost anything, you know. But then because you're actually operating in the Godhead, you realize how perfect everything is, and you actually interfere less and less. It's like that thing with you know, if Haji but faith, you can move mountains. But the paradox of it is if you have so much faith, and you're, you know, a holy person, a God realized person, is you wouldn't want to move the mountain, because everything is perfect, and it's so perfect. Nevertheless, the more conscious you are, the more of a cause you can become. Okay, and everything is ruled by cause, law, and karma. It's karma, right? Cause and effect. Everything. There's no such thing as accident. That doesn't exist. It's impossible. It is an impossibility for something to exist by chance. Everything. You know, the fires in Australia are burning. Well, that's the effect of a cause. There's a cause there. Okay. That plane crash happened and 100 people died. Oh, you know, poor innocent people. Well, that's the effect. There is a certain cause. Those 100 people I don't know why, I don't know why, but there is a cause for those 100 people to be there. It's no accident. They all, I guess, needed to die at that moment in that fashion for whatever reason. So it's like everything is cause and effect. Everything. Oh, he died of a stroke. We don't know why, but he died of a stroke. Well, there, must have been the food. It must have been something or other. Something or other. Cause and effect. That's everything is cause and effect. Nothing is accident. No chances whatsoever. Impossible. So that takes us to the last principle, the principle of gender. Everything has female or masculine and feminine, or female and male, which is masculine, feminine. Everything has a masculine and feminine, like even, the battery, positive and negative. It's a positive and negative, so everything has a charge to it. A masculine charge and a feminine charge, and that's everything. Okay, that's basically, again, it's essentially the same thing as the duality, the principle of polarity. It's everything has a masculine and a feminine aspect to it, charge, positive and negative. And yeah, that's basically it. It's very, very interesting stuff. You could sit down and talk about it for hours. You could use examples. You can do so many things with it. Really, really fascinating stuff. I listened to it 3 years ago. It blew my mind. And I was taking notes and blah blah blah, and I was like heavily experimenting with mushrooms back then, and I really liked that. I really wanted to revisit it. I had an urge to revisit the material again, and I'm glad I did. Just listening to it alone, being immersed in the Hermetic Principles alone, just gives you this this psychedelic feeling to it. It's got a psychedelic feeling, like, oh man, you're sitting in nature and you're beholding the rhythms of nature, and you're like, oh yeah, there it is, the principle of rhythm. Let me pause this and back again. So yeah, you're sitting in nature and you're like observing these waves, and you're like, look, that's the right there, rhythm. Look at the rhythm of the ocean. Everything has a rhythm. Then you're observing the sun, and you're seeing it rise from the east and then set in the west, and you're like, there's another, there's rhythm right there. Nature in rhythm again, once again. Nature's at it again. Then you observe yourself, and you see how your rhythms change throughout the day. Like there's a certain period of the day where you're more energetic, and a certain period where you're less energetic, a certain period where you're yin, a certain period where you're yang. And you see it even responding to the cycles and the rhythms of nature. It's fascinating, really, really fascinating. And you see the poles of everything. You just see it everywhere, like everywhere. 7 Hermetic Principles, and it's all around you. And the trippiest one of them all is the first one. All is mental. This is all a dream. Everyone is me, experiencing themselves as this finite thing. And it all appears to be real, but it isn't. And death is just a big cosmic joke, and it's just an illusion. No such thing as death. I mean, it really is trippy, man. It's trippy stuff. So, hope you enjoyed the video. We will definitely revisit this in the future. And I want to thank all the Patreons for your consistent and continuous support. I love you guys so much, and if you want to join, you could, if you got a couple of bucks a month to spare, we got the link for the Patreon in the description. One-time donations are also appreciated via PayPal. Saeed Mobayed on Instagram for video requests, or if you want to just talk about anything. And until next time, may the force be with you.